This video is about an 11-year-old boy from St. Benedict's who, after being sexually abused, then returned to the school to help the school out and work there. It's quite strange, the relationship between victim and paedophile, victim and institution. Sometimes the victims go back, but that's not because they like the paedophilia or the sexual abuse. It's because there is some sort of programming which goes on in the brain.
1964 or 65. In our lessons, when we were resting, we all had to sit on the edge of a stage. When we were sitting on the edge of the stage, RCF 96 would pick us up in turn and put us on his knee. As I was sitting on his knee, he then put his hands down my shorts and inside my underpants. He would then fondle my genitals. This would last for a few minutes on each occasion. These events occurred in full view of other children. Once he had finished with you, he then moved on to another child. This would occur weekly in lessons. Overall, I would say these incidents occurred to me on maybe a dozen occasions. He goes on to say that he continued his connection with St. Benedict's, and for 10 years after leaving university, he supplied the combined cadet force at the school with lorries, which was his business at the time. He also became the school staff instructor for the combined cadet force. In my day at the school, RCF 96 was absolutely brazen and open in his molestation of boys.
This is the leading Catholic school in London, and this is what they do. Don't look at the mottos, don't look at the television, don't look at their little cell documentaries. Look at the evidence.
I cannot point to a specific occasion when it was witnessed by other staff members. However, I would say that the culture of the school was such that RCF 96 would have been unlikely to have been challenged about his behaviour. It was a hierarchical, deferential school. I don't think any other staff member would have been inclined to make waves by challenging him. Overall, I would say that at St. Benedict's, 90% of the staff were good.
90% of the teachers knew about the sexual abuse. And they're good teachers. No. If you know about the sexual abuse and you don't do anything, it doesn't matter if you're a good teacher and students like you, you're a bad person and a bad teacher. Mr. Simmons, the headmaster of the junior school, he went to St. Benedict's and he knew about those rumours. And I ask, what's Mr. Simmons done?
But sadly, there were some very bad ones who were abusers, and the school turned a blind eye to them. Even in the junior school, one grew up acclimatising oneself to the eccentricities of a series of frankly terrifying men employed by the school. There were particular teachers whose reputation was that they were almost deranged in their pursuit of corporal punishment.
And I've seen. Aquinas says it is not only good but necessary to be irate for just cause. What he is saying is that if you see something is wrong and you do nothing and you stand by and let it happen and you do not get angry, it is sinful. The parents, the teachers, the monks, whom are all Catholic, who believe in St. Thomas Aquinas because it's part of their theology, have sat and watched children be sexually abused and they haven't got angry. All they've done is they've looked after their reputations and their faith. Now, I think that is something to be angry about. And if it's not, Catholicism isn't something I think anyone should go close to.
David Pearce was known as Gay Dave. Everyone called him this. It was well known that he had a sexual interest in children. He would look at you in a flirtatious way. You had to try to avoid meeting his eye. His behaviours crossed a line, and everybody recognised that.
If you have been abused in the UK at St. Benedict's School or by a religious institution, you can read this book. It's a brilliant book. It's written by Richard Scorer. I'll put his email in the link down below as well.